After 7 years of marriage, my wife and I still didn't have a child. At first, she said she wanted to enjoy the couple's world for a while. Later, she said she wasn't ready to be a mother. Finally, she said that while we were young, we should focus on developing our careers first so that we could provide better living conditions for our children in the future. It was not until the 7th wedding anniversary that I understood everything when I saw a pregnancy test form and a paternity test report with her first love. All her plans had nothing to do with me. The moment I learned the truth, I completely gave up. I smiled self-deprecatingly and contacted a lawyer to draw up a divorce agreement. Just as I received the divorce agreement drafted by the lawyer, Juliet came back. There was a faint smile on her face, and she seemed very happy. But the moment she saw me, she froze, and the smile on her face stiffened. "Why are you at home? Didn't you go to work?" "I wasn't feeling well, so I came back early." Juliet walked up to me, looked me up and down, and sneered, "What's wrong? Now you've learned to pretend to be sick and slack off? Look at you, you have a rosy complexion and a strong body. You don't look sick at all. Ethan, my father went against everyone's opinions and recommended you to be the vice president of Juliet Group at all costs. He hoped you could help me manage Juliet Group well, not just hold an empty title and be lazy." As she spoke, she looked around the house again and wrinkled her nose in disgust. "Fine if you don't cook when you come back, but you made the house such a mess. What on earth do you want to do?" I raised my eyes to meet her gaze and asked expressionlessly, "What about you? Where have you been these 2 days?" A flash of panic crossed her face, but she still stubbornly said, "Do I have to report to you where I go?" I smiled bitterly and nodded in agreement. "Yes, there's no need. But I know even if you don't say. You went to accompany William, right?" Juliet gave up pretending and admitted it generously. "Yes, I went to accompany William. He's not in good health and has no other friends. What's wrong with me spending more time with him? I didn't tell you just because I was afraid you'd think too much." I nodded in understanding. "So should I thank you? My wife goes to accompany another man behind my back and still considers my feelings." Juliet realized I was being sarcastic, and her face looked very ugly. "Ethan, can you change this problem of yours? He's a patient. Is it interesting for you to keep arguing with him? A grown man, being jealous all day long is really low class. Be more open-minded and stop being so sentimental, okay?" I was stunned, once again shocked by Juliet's shameless words. "So according to you, I should just watch my wife hang out with another man all day long and put a green hat on me?" "Ethan," Juliet roared, "stop talking nonsense. I'm telling you, not to mention there's nothing between me and William. Even if there was, it's none of your business. If we really wanted to be together, we would have been together long ago." My heart trembled. So in Juliet's heart, I was so worthless. I thought I had already given up after learning about Juliet's actions. But I didn't expect that even now, my emotions could still be easily influenced by her words. I took a deep breath to suppress the bitterness in my heart. I turned around and walked to the printer, printed out the divorce agreement, and handed it to her. Juliet's eyes widened in disbelief when she saw the content on it. You want to divorce me?" I nodded heavily. "Yes, divorce. Are you crazy? Dare you divorce me? Can you bear to?" No wonder Juliet was so shocked. It was just because the love I gave her made her have the right to question me. I loved her, very much. She knew that, and I knew that too. But now I'm tired. I can no longer love or afford to love. Seeing that I didn't speak, she raised a disdainful smile at the corner of her mouth. "Ethan, the tricks of playing hard to get and making a retreat to advance won't work on me. I advise you to be obedient and do your job well. I'll keep you as the enviable vice president Ethan." After saying that, she waved the divorce agreement in her hand and turned around to leave gracefully. As soon as Juliet left, I received a message from William. "A person should clearly understand their own strength. What doesn't belong to you will never be yours. So what if you're married? The person in her heart has always been me. As long as I ask, she will do whatever it takes to help me fulfill my wish." In the past, when I received messages of provocation from William, I felt very sad. I also asked Juliet more than once why she treated me like this. She would only say contemptuously, "He's a patient. Why do you have to argue with a patient?" Facing the situation between me and William, she always stood by William's side and always used this sentence to fob me off. After so many times, I stopped asking. And that night, she didn't come back, and I didn't sleep all night. The next afternoon, I received a call from Juliet. Her tone was flat, as if she didn't take yesterday's matter to heart at all. Today is William's birthday. I'll send you an address later. Come here right after work. If it weren't for him specifically inviting you, I really wouldn't want you to come and embarrass me. After saying that, she hung up the phone directly. I looked at the 7-second call time displayed on the screen and couldn't help but find it a bit funny. She didn't remember our wedding anniversary, or rather, she didn't remember anything about me. But as long as it was about William, no matter big or small, she remembered everything clearly and arranged everything in an orderly manner. I ignored her message and continued to be busy with my work. Although I had decided to divorce, I still had to do my job well before leaving. This was what I promised others. I don't know how long it had passed when the phone rang again. Juliet's angry voice came through. "Ethan, what are you doing? Why haven't you come yet? Don't tell me you're still busy at the company, trying to show off in front of me. Please also distinguish the occasion and time. Do you know how embarrassing it is for so many people to wait for you alone?" I said unhurriedly, "Didn't you say you didn't want me to go and embarrass you? Why are you in a hurry to let me go now?" Juliet was speechless, and her heavy breathing revealed that she was trying her best to suppress her anger. "Ethan, I know a few days ago was our anniversary. I was too busy to accompany you, and I made you feel bad. But now it's William's birthday, and a group of us are waiting for you. I hope you come here right away and don't make everyone embarrassed." I was stunned. So she didn't forget our anniversary, she just didn't care. "If you want me to go, then come and pick me up." As soon as I finished speaking, the person on the other end of the phone exploded. "Ethan, don't push your luck. Take the chance when it's given to you. Don't think too highly of yourself." I replied indifferently, "Oh, then forget it. I'm going home. You guys have fun." After a few seconds of silence, I heard Juliet gritting her teeth, "Wait, I'll be there soon." After the phone was hung up, I couldn't help but sigh that Juliet was really willing to do whatever it took. In order to make William happy, she was willing to go to such lengths. 20 minutes later, I slowly went downstairs. When Juliet saw me coming down, she gave me an annoyed look and motioned for me to get in the car quickly. I knew what she was afraid of. We had been married for many years, but not many people knew we were husband and wife. At first, she said it was to protect me, so that no one would say I got my position through her after learning about my identity. At that time, I thought she loved me so much that she even considered these things for me. Later, I realized that she simply looked down on me. This way, in the eyes of outsiders, if she got closer to William, no one would gossip, which was a disguised way of protecting William. I opened the back door and got in. As soon as I closed the car door, I heard her coldly ask from the front seat, "What do you mean? Treating me as a driver?" I met her displeased gaze in the rear view mirror and glanced at the passenger seat in front of her. There were some fancy words pasted on it. "Exclusive to William." Hearing my words, she subconsciously looked at the seat next to her, and a hint of embarrassment appeared on her face. "Ahem." Juliet coughed softly. "He had a relapse of his illness before. To make him happy, I let him do as he pleased. Why do you care about such things?" I changed the subject. "Let's go quickly. Be careful, someone might see." Only then did Juliet realize and quickly start the car and leave. I knew this car was given to her by William before we got married. It was also her favorite car. At first, I didn't know. It was not until after we got married that once my car was restricted by the license plate number, and I was in a hurry to go out, so I drove her car. As a result, I wasn't very familiar with it on the first try and slightly scratched it. After I repaired it, I drove it back. But when she saw that I had touched her car, she started yelling at me. After finding the repair marks, she directly slapped me. Only then did I know the significance of this car to her. Since then, I have never touched this car again. Counting this time, it's the second time I've taken her car in 7 years of marriage. When we arrived at the place, we got out of the car together. I walked behind her and saw her quickly take out her phone and chat with someone. I took a step forward and, taking advantage of my height, saw the screen of her phone clearly. The moment I saw the chat record, I was stunned. She was chatting with someone from a car wash, saying that she would send the car for a comprehensive cleaning and maintenance tomorrow. She emphasized the back seat, asking the other party to disinfect and clean it thoroughly. In an instant, I felt as if my legs were filled with lead, so heavy that I couldn't take a step. An unprecedented sense of humiliation enveloped me. I just stared at her, watching her walk away slowly. I adjusted my state and pushed the door open and entered. the originally lively private room suddenly fell silent. Someone spoke first. "Oh, isn't this our Vice President Ethan? Truly a busy person. It's so hard to invite you." William stood up and smiled to smooth things over for me. "Ethan must have been busy with something and that's why he's late. Everyone, don't take it to heart." As he spoke, he invited me to take a seat, as if he was really trying to help me out. But my seat was right opposite the two of them. After all the dishes were served, I ate a few mouthfuls and then didn't feel like eating anymore. Just then, the waiter knocked on the door and said the cake had arrived. Everyone then moved to the entertainment area. Amidst the applause and birthday wishes, William made a wish: "I hope my body can recover soon and I can be with the person I love." After that, he blew out the candles and invited Juliet to cut the cake with him. The two held hands and cut the first slice. At the same time, William didn't forget to glance at me triumphantly. I was expressionless, completely indifferent to his provocation. After cutting the cake, William brought the first piece to me. "Ethan, I'm so glad you could come to my birthday party." As he spoke, he handed me the cake in his hand, but when I reached out to take it, he directly let go. The cake fell to the ground, and he exclaimed, "Ethan, if you don't like cake, you can just say so. Why do you have to do this? Do you not like the cake or do you not like me?" Hearing the commotion between us, everyone looked over. William turned around, his eyes red and looking pitiful, and said, "Juliet, does Ethan hate me?" He knocked over my cake. Without saying a word, Juliet rushed towards me with the cake in her hand that she hadn't given away yet. She directly smashed the cake on me, then took William's hand and gently coaxed, "Don't cry. Your health is not good. Don't mind him." As she spoke, she glared at me viciously and then pulled William to sit aside. The expressions of the others looking at me were also full of disgust. I turned around and went out to the bathroom to clean my clothes. After I finished and came back, just as I reached the door, I heard Juliet's voice inside, "Okay, don't be sad. When he comes back later, I'll make him apologize to you, okay?" Someone asked in confusion, "Juliet, I still don't understand. Why did your father insist that you marry him back then? Besides being healthier than William, what else does he have that can compare to William?" Someone else echoed, "I think at that time, Juliet's father knew his health was not good and wanted to see Juliet married and taken care of before he passed away, so he made Juliet marry him." William sighed, "It's all my fault that my body is not up to it. If I hadn't gone abroad, maybe now." He didn't finish, but his meaning was obvious. The girl who had spoken just now spoke again, "Juliet, we all know you have feelings for each other. Why don't you dump him and be together?" Juliet didn't respond, just gently stroked William's face. "Take good care of your body. When you recover, I'll promise you anything you say." This was a disguised admission that she also thought this way in her heart. She couldn't wait to get rid of me and be with William. I smiled self-deprecatingly and turned to leave. When I got home, I started packing my things. Just as I finished, Juliet came back. She was stunned when she saw the suitcase. "What are you doing packing your things at this late hour?" As she spoke, she threw a small box over. "A belated anniversary gift for you. You have time tomorrow to go and apologize to William. Don't make him sad again." I frowned and looked at her. "Why should I apologize? You knocked over the cake, embarrassed him in public, and then left without saying a word. This is a very disrespectful behavior. Don't you think you should apologize for these two things?" I didn't say anything and opened the box to take a look. It was a blue and white tie. I sneered. If I hadn't seen this tie in William's WeChat moments, I might have been very happy. After hanging up her phone in the afternoon, I saw William's WeChat moments. He thanked Juliet for accompanying him shopping and buying him a high-end customized suit. And this tie was a free gift. Juliet gave me the gift that William didn't like and expected me to be grateful. I threw the box back and said calmly, "I don't want it." After that, in Juliet's astonished eyes, I put the signed divorce agreement on the table, picked up the suitcase, and walked out the door. Perhaps this was the most tacit moment between Juliet and me. We both wanted a divorce. In the next 2 days, Juliet didn't make any move and didn't come to the company either. This just gave me time to hand over my work and leave smoothly. As a result, that afternoon, I received a call from Juliet's mother. On the phone, she sighed and said that she had dreamed of Juliet's father again. At the mention of Juliet's father, a wave of sadness welled up in my heart. "Ethan, come back tonight. Let's have a reunion dinner as a family." I thought about it and agreed. In fact, I could probably guess the purpose of Juliet's mother asking me to come back. But for the sake of Juliet's father, I had to go. When I arrived at Juliet's family's old house, only Juliet's mother was there. Seeing me coming, she got up with a smile and welcomed me in. "Ethan is here. Come and sit down quickly." There was a kind smile on her face, as if she was really like an old mother. After chatting for a while, Juliet also came back. But she didn't come back alone. She brought William with her. I noticed that there was a fleeting look of disgust in Juliet's mother's eyes when she saw William. "Mom, I'm back," came Juliet's voice. "Didn't you say the house was too deserted? I invited William too. More people make it livelier." Juliet's mother nodded with a smile and chimed in, "Yes, yes, more people make it livelier." Juliet shifted her gaze to me and sneered, "Weren't you so tough? Why did you still come?" Juliet's mother gave Juliet a glare. "Juliet, how do you talk to Ethan? Husband and wife should be more tolerant of each other. Don't always bully Ethan." "Who would I dare to bully? He's capable now. He even knows how to run away from home." Hearing this, Juliet's mother looked at me in surprise. With a turn of her eyes, she probably had a rough guess. At the dinner table, Juliet's mother brought up Juliet's father. She babbled on a lot, basically meaning that I shouldn't forget the kindness of Juliet's father and that I should have a child with Juliet as soon as possible to carry on the family line of the Juliet family. The reason it's called the family line of the Juliet family is that I'm an orphan. Yes, I'm one of the orphans sponsored by Juliet's father. I received the kindness of Juliet's father. After graduating from university, I entered Juliet Group on my own and then dared to go to see Juliet's father to repay his kindness. Juliet's father also favored me a lot and gave me many opportunities to exercise myself. It took me 4 years to climb from the bottom to middle-level management. I thought I would surely have the time and opportunity to repay Juliet's father. But things didn't go as I wished. Juliet's father got sick, cancer. Although it was just in the middle stage, with drug control and chemotherapy, it only lasted for 2 years. During those 2 years when Juliet's father was ill, he watched over Juliet and me every day, making us study how to manage the company well. Half a year before Juliet's father passed away, he asked me to marry Juliet and support Juliet in managing Juliet Group well after marriage. But Juliet didn't want to. Although I liked her, I wouldn't force her to do something she didn't want to do, so I also refused Juliet's father's proposal. Later, Juliet's father called Juliet into the study and talked for a whole night. I didn't know what the father-daughter pair talked about that night. But the next day, Juliet agreed. After that, we got the marriage certificate. Less than half a year after marriage, Juliet's father passed away. Before Juliet's father left, he also promoted me to the position of vice president of Juliet Group. Since then, during the day, I was the vice president of Juliet Group, and at night, I was Juliet's secretly married husband. In the second year of marriage, Juliet's mother asked us to have a child as soon as possible. But Juliet was always reluctant. She always had various reasons, saying that she had her own arrangements and plans. I always cooperated with her and tried my best to mediate between her and Juliet's mother. In the 4th year of marriage, William came back. He was Juliet's first love and grew up with Juliet as childhood sweethearts. Originally, the two families had similar family backgrounds, and they even had a childhood betrothal. But William's mother died when he was 9 years old. It was said that there was some genetic disease on his mother's side, and people usually died young. The year after William's mother died, his father remarried. The next year, he had a younger brother, and thus became an extra person in the family. When he graduated from high school, his father died in a plane crash. His step-mother quickly took control of the family property and kicked him out. William, who was already in poor health, could only leave with his sick body and go abroad to seek refuge with his aunt who was married far away abroad. After that, they lost contact. After William came back, Juliet no longer hid her disgust and dislike for me. I spent 3 difficult years under her cold eyes and disdain. On the Mid-Autumn Festival, our family was sitting together having a meal. Juliet's mother started the talk about having a baby again, and Juliet turned her face and left on the spot. So Juliet's mother shifted her target to me. She asked me, "You've been married for 6 or 7 years. Why haven't you had a child? Is there something wrong with one of your bodies?" Hearing this, I was stunned for a moment and understood the meaning behind her words. As an orphan, I really wanted to have a family of my own and a child of my own. I originally planned to take Juliet to have a check-up after the anniversary. But she didn't come back those days. Later, I went for a check-up up by myself, and the result was that I was healthy. When I was about to leave, I met an old friend at the hospital entrance. Like me, he was also an orphan sponsored by Juliet's father to grow up. He studied medicine and happened to work in this hospital. As a friend who grew up together and was also sponsored, he naturally knew about me and Juliet. Seeing me, he smiled and joked, "Long time no see. Are you here with your wife for a prenatal check-up?" I keenly caught the key word. What prenatal check-up? My friend saw my confused look and explained, "Isn't your wife pregnant? Don't you know?" Hearing this, an unprecedented joy burst out in my eyes. I thought God was looking after me. I was just thinking about when we could have a child of our own, and now my wish came true. I said goodbye to my friend and hurried home. When I got home, I thought about tidying up the house and making some of her favorite dishes to celebrate. When I was halfway through cleaning, I suddenly found 2 test forms. One was Juliet's pregnancy test form, and the other was a paternity test certificate. And the name of the man was William. When Juliet's mother was talking enthusiastically, I interrupted her. "Mom, she's already pregnant." Hearing this, the 3 people present were all stunned. Juliet's mother was shocked first and then delighted. "Really? Daughter, you're pregnant?" Juliet ignored her mother and looked at me in astonishment. "How do you know?" I smiled. "Shouldn't I know? Or were you planning to keep it a secret from us until the baby was born?" Her lips moved, but she didn't say anything for a long time. It was William on the side who sat up straight, stretched his neck, and looked at me with a smug face. Juliet's mother seemed to sense something and said coldly, "What are you talking about? Is there something you're hiding from me?" I didn't say anything. In front of Juliet's mother, I took out the divorce agreement and handed it to Juliet. "Sign it. It's time for us to be frank." Juliet's mother stood up and quickly walked to Juliet's side to take a look. "Divorce agreement? What are you doing, Ethan? Why do you want to divorce all of a sudden?" I looked at her and said calmly, "Mom, or this might be the last time I call you that. As for why I want a divorce, you should ask your own daughter." "Juliet, what have you done?" Juliet's mother asked nervously. Juliet first looked at her mother and then at me. "Ethan, why do you have to make things so embarrassing? Yes, I'm pregnant with William's child. But so what? His health is poor. I've asked the doctor, and only the bone marrow of a blood relative can save him. His parents have been dead for a long time. Now that there's a chance to save him, how could I let it go easily?" As soon as these words were spoken, Juliet's mother looked at William viciously. Her eyes seemed to want to devour William, and all the previous gentleness and kindness were gone. Although the Juliet family and the William family had been friends for generations, now that Juliet's father was gone, and William's step-mother was in control of the William family, the relationship was no longer as close as before. Most importantly, because of William's poor health, Juliet's mother would never allow Juliet to be with William. Both she and Juliet knew these truths. So Juliet had to act first and report later, but she didn't expect that someone would come out of nowhere and expose the matter directly in front of her mother. Juliet's mother naturally wouldn't blame Juliet, but would vent her anger on William instead. One thing led to another, and no one could escape. I looked at Juliet, who had a determined look on her face, and nodded in approval. "Yes, I know you're eager to save him, but that doesn't affect my decision to divorce. After you sign, we'll get divorced. You can save whoever you want and have a child with whomever you want. It's all up to you. Ethan, don't go too far." Juliet slapped the table and roared, "Do you really think I'm afraid to divorce you? Think it through. If you divorce me, you'll have nothing. And you're not young anymore. Besides me, who else would want a man like you with nothing?" I was amused by her words. She really thought of herself as something everyone was vying for. I was just in my early 30s, able-bodied, with work experience and skills. Why would I worry about not being able to find a good job to support myself? "Have you finished?" I asked her. "If you have, then sign it. You talked so much that I almost thought you were reluctant to divorce me." "You?" Juliet was speechless. I don't know if it was because she was too angry, but her face turned red. "Juliet, Ethan, calm down. Divorce is not a trivial matter. Don't be impulsive. Let's sit down and talk things over slowly." Juliet's mother was so anxious that she was almost crying. She knew that if I divorced Juliet, then Juliet would surely be with William. With William's sickly body, where he gasped for breath every 3 steps and coughed every 2 steps, not only could he not take care of Juliet, but he couldn't help manage Juliet Group either. She just hoped that Juliet wouldn't regret it and that she wouldn't give birth to a sick child. That would be the best case scenario. So now she was really afraid that I would divorce Juliet. Juliet, Ethan must mind that you're pregnant with William's child. You can just abort the child. Juliet turned around abruptly and looked at her mother. Mom, what are you talking about? How could I abort the child? This is the only chance to save William. So just sign it. Everything will be fine. I picked up her words and said. Do you think I don't dare? Juliet stared at me intently. I'm giving you a chance. Don't be ungrateful. I shook my head and refused. I don't need it. Sign it quickly. Fine, don't regret it. After saying that, she picked up the pen and wrote her name in the signature area for the woman. Among the 4 people present, there were 3 different expressions. Juliet's mother was crying, Juliet was angry, and William and I were smiling happily. After leaving Juliet's family's old house, I went straight to the mall. I bought a lot of clothes for myself and then went to a massage parlor for a full body massage. Since I married Juliet, I hadn't had a single day of relaxation in these 7 years. For her and to fulfill the entrustment of Juliet's father, I had to devote all my energy to Juliet Group. At first, I thought that as long as I did enough and did well enough, she would notice me and be happy. Until one time when William sent me a provoking message, saying, no matter how hard you try, what's the use? With just one word from me, she can deny everything you've done. I didn't believe it, but time and time again, the tragic results and the fact that Juliet was biased towards him told me that William was right. However, starting from today, I finally don't have to bear the expectations and responsibilities of others anymore. I can finally be happy and do what I want. After enjoying myself, I went home and had a good sleep. Early the next morning, I got myself ready and called Juliet. The phone was answered almost instantly, and Juliet's soft laugh came from the other side. What, you couldn't help but contact me after just one night? Ethan, as long as you're obedient and don't make trouble, and don't stop me from giving birth to the child to save William, I'll forgive you. I'll pretend that the divorce thing you mentioned before never happened. You can still be the vice president of Juliet Group and the enviable son-in-law of the Juliet family. She babbled on a lot, as if she had me completely under her control. Hello, are you even listening to me? I responded with an and then asked, have you finished? You seem quite self-indulgent. I really didn't have the heart to interrupt. What do you mean? Juliet asked. I replied, if you've finished, it's my turn. I've already made an appointment for the divorce number at the Civil Affairs Bureau. Since we have time today, let's go there. Before I finished speaking, I heard Juliet scream. Ethan, I'll ask you one more time. Do you really want to divorce me? Ignoring her roar, I continued, in an hour, if I don't see you at the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau, I'll sue. Forgot to tell you, I have a lot of evidence. If we go to court, I guarantee I can make you and the Juliet family lose face all the way to the Pacific Ocean. These pieces of evidence were personally given to me by your little lover William. After saying that, I hung up the phone directly. I waited at the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau for an hour before Juliet finally showed up, with William following behind her. Juliet's hair was disheveled, she was wearing the same clothes as yesterday, and her makeup was also from yesterday. Even because of makeup fading, she looked a bit ugly. On the contrary, I came here well, fed, well, rested, and dressed neatly and energetically. She was stunned when she saw me, a bit surprised. Why are you dressed so flamboyantly? Are you that happy to divorce me? I looked down at myself. I was wearing very casual and refreshing clothes with sports shoes, which had nothing to do with being flamboyant. But then I realized that in the 7 years of marriage, I had always dressed like an elite in the morning. This kind of next door look was indeed rare. I smiled softly. You can't say I'm flamboyant just because you didn't dress up. I used to dress more formally for the convenience of company management, but this is what I look like in private. If there's nothing else, let's go in. A person who has never even seen my true appearance really doesn't deserve to be my wife. After saying that, I turned around and walked into the Civil Affairs Bureau first. The divorce process went smoothly. The moment I got the divorce certificate, I finally let out a sigh of relief. At that moment, it felt like the whole world had brightened up. After leaving the Civil Affairs Bureau, Juliet glared at me viciously. Ethan, you've wasted your last chance. I'll wait for the day when you regret it and come crying to me. William took her hand and comforted her. Juliet, don't be angry. He never deserved you anyway. From now on, we can just laugh at him." Juliet shook off William's hand, strode away, not even giving him an extra glance. Although William was puzzled, he still looked proud in front of me. "You know, it would have been better if you had recognized the reality and left earlier. Now that you've been dumped, are you happy?" I chuckled, looking at Juliet's departing figure, and said, "It doesn't seem like she loves you that much. Otherwise, she should have dragged you in to get the marriage certificate on the spot." William was taken aback, and the smile on his face froze. Finally, he said dryly and irritably, "Juliet and I will be together sooner or later." After that, he also turned and left. Seeing them deflated made me feel really good. After leaving the Civil Affairs Bureau, I went to the company. After submitting my resignation letter to the board of directors, I returned to my office and started packing my things. Just as I finished, Juliet rushed in. She was still in a mess as in the morning, looking really pitiful. "Ethan, who gave you permission to leave your job? I don't agree with your resignation." Her actions attracted other colleagues in the office, and everyone gathered around. "Do I need your approval?" "The approval of 2/3 of the board of directors is enough," I said casually, but Juliet completely broke down. "I don't agree. You promised my dad that you would stay in Juliet Group to help me. You can't go back on your word." Facing her hysteria, I was very calm. "First of all, I promised Juliet's father, not you. Secondly, the agreement between me and Juliet's father was for 10 years. I've been in the company for 11 years now, which has exceeded the agreed-upon period. Finally, I'm leaving the job through regular channels. If you want to force me to stay, I don't mind calling the police or filing for labor arbitration." Juliet stared at me blankly. "Ethan, do you hate me so much? Do you really want to get rid of me?" I nodded. "Yes. Now when I look at you, it's like seeing garbage on the street, exuding a disgusting stench, and surrounded by disgusting flies." Hearing my words, several colleagues standing behind Juliet unconsciously took a few steps back. This move seemed to hit her. Her lips trembled, and she couldn't say a word. She directly covered her mouth and ran away crying. Among the colleagues watching the excitement, one of them bravely came up and asked, "Ethan, are you really leaving your job?" I nodded. "Did you have a fight with Juliet? Is it a bit?" Indeed, my image in the company has always been strict yet gentle, polite and measured. So many colleagues have a good impression of me. They have never seen me angry or heard me swear. I smiled but didn't say anything, and left with the box in my arms. After walking a few steps, I heard someone calling me from behind, "Ethan, you dropped something." I turned around and saw it was the divorce certificate. And it was open, and the content on it was seen by everyone. The colleagues' eyes on me instantly became gossipy, but then thinking about the usual situation between Juliet and William, they looked at me sympathetically. I took it expressionlessly. "Okay, you guys work hard. I'll come back to see you if I have a chance in the future." After that, I turned and left. The discussions of the people behind me reached my ears, but I just smiled and ignored them. After all, that's the truth. After leaving my job, I completely let myself go. First, I booked a flight ticket to France. When I first got married to Juliet, she promised that we would go to France for a honeymoon when we had time later. But we were both very busy at that time, and I kept this promise in my heart. Now that I came alone, I saw the so-called romantic capital of the world. It seemed just so. I traveled around for 2 months and went back when I had enough fun. After going back, I founded a small company with some partners I had worked with before. After being relaxed for too long, I really wasn't used to the working environment. The company wasn't large, with just a little over 10 people. I saw Juliet and William again at a reception. The two of them were arm in arm, very intimate, showing their deep affection in front of everyone. Juliet's belly was also showing a bit, and she looked a bit more tired. I had no intention of getting involved with them, but when William saw me, it was as if he had seen something interesting. "Ethan, long time no see. I didn't expect to see you here." I looked up and met his proud and gloating expression. On the contrary, Juliet beside him, when she noticed me, quickly let go of William's arm. William approached me and lowered his voice, saying, "Juliet and I have already got the marriage certificate. Juliet's mother has also accepted me and the child in Juliet's belly. Now I'm the son-in-law of the Juliet family. When the child is born and my illness is cured, the entire Juliet family and Juliet will be mine." I nodded in understanding. "Congratulations. You've got what you wanted." He was stunned, a bit incredulous. It seemed that what he was showing off meant nothing to me. I heard you even opened a small crappy company. Are you planning to compete with Juliet Group? Before I could answer, a woman with a graceful figure appeared beside me. The woman was wearing a red dress, with delicate makeup, and casually shaking a glass of red wine in her hand. William, do you have a problem with our company? William looked at the person and unconsciously took a step back. Daphne, you. Daphne was the partner I co-founded the company with. She was young, but she was the only girl in the 3 generations of the Daphne family, so the Daphne family doted on her very much. Although the small company I co-founded with her was small in scale, it was backed by the Daphne family. Secondly, those dozen or so people in our company, each one of them was capable of handling things independently. Obviously, William only knew that I had started a small company, but didn't know the strength of this small company. William, be a good son-in-law. Don't say anything unnecessary, or... The warning in Daphne's words was very clear. William nodded repeatedly and took a step back, hiding behind Juliet. Juliet didn't say a word throughout, just staring straight at me. On the day the reception ended, I received a strange call. When did you get together with her? It was Juliet's voice. Are you crazy? What are you talking about? I retorted irritably. Juliet on the other end of the phone laughed out loud. Ethan, I thought you were so brave to propose divorce to me. Turns out you found a new backer. Ethan, you're really embarrassing. I sneered. Why don't you check who the decision-maker of our company is before you say this? And even if I'm hitching my wagon to a rich person, that person is better than you. At least that person is smarter than you. After that, I hung up the phone directly. In the middle of the night, when I was sound asleep, I was suddenly woken up by a rapid knock on the door. I rubbed my sleepy eyes and opened the door with a bad temper. I thought it was that crazy person knocking on the door at night. When I opened the door, it turned out to be Juliet's best friend, Lily. When she saw me, she looked anxious. Ethan, come with me to the hospital quickly. Juliet has an accident. I shook off her hand. Are you okay? What does her accident have to do with me? You should go find William if you need to. As I said that, I was about to close the door. Lily quickly held the door and pleaded. Ethan, don't be like this. Juliet drank too much and fell. She might have a miscarriage. She's been calling your name. I'm begging you. Go and see her. For the sake of your marriage and the love you once had for her, okay? As soon as these words were said, I woke up instantly. But then I laughed again. No way. I'll go and have a good laugh when she's on her deathbed. Lily was stunned, looking horrified. How could you? Get out of here quickly. If you don't leave, I'll call the police and report that you're breaking into my house. Before Lily could react, I forcefully closed the door. If you dare to knock on the door again, I'll sue you for disturbing the peace in the middle of the night. Finally, it was quiet outside the door, and I climbed back into bed and fell asleep. I thought that after all that had happened, would never see Juliet again. But unexpectedly, she came to me in person. When I heard that someone came to talk about cooperation with our company and pushed open the door of the meeting room, I was stunned. What are you doing here? Juliet's face was pale, and she had lost a lot of weight. She tried to pull the corners of her mouth, attempting a smile but looking rather forced. I'm here to talk about cooperation with your company. I lowered my eyes to look at the proposal in her hand and suddenly noticed that her belly was smaller. Thinking about Lily coming to me in the middle of the night saying she might have a miscarriage, it turned out to be true. But I didn't say much. It was all karma. I said expressionlessly, since when does Juliet need to come in person to talk about cooperation with a small crappy company like ours? The sarcasm in my words was obvious, and Juliet could barely maintain her fake smile. Suddenly, she started crying. Ethan, I regret it. I came here for you. She looked grief-stricken, her voice choked with sobs. I was wrong before. I didn't see clearly what was in my heart. In the months since we got divorced, I've realized that the person I've always loved is you. I haven't had a good night's sleep in these months. I think about you every moment. Ethan, I love you. I can't live without you. Let's get back together, okay? I looked at her with disdain. Did you lose your mind along with the miscarriage? You're a married woman now. Saying these things can easily make others misunderstand me. No, he's not the one. The person in my heart has always been you. As she spoke, Juliet walked towards me, patting her chest with both hands, trying her best to prove that she was telling the truth. Ethan, do you know? During the time you were gone, Every item in the house seemed both familiar and strange to me. Your shadow was everywhere in every corner of the house, but I couldn't hold on to you. I shook my head helplessly. Juliet, you still haven't figured out what you want. You said you can see my figure in every corner of the house, but can't hold on to me. That's because I once put my heart into running that home. I arranged, tidied, and cleaned every item with my own hands. What you're saying now is nothing more than that you feel there's a lack of someone at home to serve you, take care of you, and clean up the house. If that's the case, I suggest you hire a nanny instead of using the identity of your husband to tie down a man. What's going on? Hearing the voice, Juliet and I turned our heads towards the door. It was Daphne. Ethan, tell me, is it because of her that you don't want to get back together with me? Juliet pointed at Daphne, shouting hysterically without any grace. Daphne looked startled, then burst out laughing. Juliet, how did you get yourself in such a mess? As she spoke, she walked closer to me and put her hand on my shoulder. If you really think we're a good match, Ethan and I can give it a try too. Bitch, don't you touch him. Like a crazy person, Juliet bypassed the round table and rushed towards Daphne. She raised her hand to hit Daphne, but I grabbed her wrist and threw her away. Juliet fell to the ground and looked up at me in disbelief. Ethan, you actually pushed me for another woman? I closed my eyes, took a deep breath to suppress the annoyance in my heart, and said, leave. Don't make me call security to throw you out. Juliet's face froze. She gritted her teeth and got up. As she passed by me, she glanced at me sideways. Ethan, I know you mind William's existence. If it weren't for him, we wouldn't have ended up like this. Don't worry. After I deal with him, I'll come back to you clean. After she left, I heard Daphne sigh. Alas, a well-born young lady reduced to this state. She really deserves it. As she spoke, she looked at me again, scanning me up and down. What are you looking at? Do you think I'm really interested in you? If it weren't for your ability, I wouldn't have partnered with you. I smiled bitterly. The children of wealthy families are really unpredictable. I didn't take Juliet's words about dealing with William to heart. Until one day, more than a month later, as soon as I arrived at the company entrance, a figure rushed out from the side and knocked me down. I took a closer look and was shocked to find it was William. However, the William in front of me was completely different from the one in my memory. The William the first knew was dressed neatly, looking sunny and handsome. Although he seemed a bit sickly, he still gave the impression of being pampered. But the current William had dirty and tattered clothes, a filthy face, and his hair was sticky with some unknown substance. He was dirty, thin, and looked like a beggar. His expression was frenzied. He straddled me and tightly grabbed my neck with both hands. It's you. It's all your fault. You must have sowed discord between Juliet and me. She doesn't love me anymore. She aborted our child, taking away my chance to live, and kicked me out of the Juliet family. All of this must be because of you. Ethan, I'll drag you down with me even if I die. Ha ha ha. Fortunately, the security guards at the company entrance came up in time and pulled him off me, so I wasn't in danger. William was held aside, still shouting insults at me. At this moment, Juliet pushed through the crowd with bodyguards. She looked at me, her face full of concern. Are you okay? I took a step back to create some distance. I'm fine. You'd better take care of him first. Juliet gave William a disgusted look and waved her hand at the bodyguards behind her. Take him away. William was held by two people and dragged directly into the car. Don't mind him. His mental state has been poor recently. I'm going to send him to a mental hospital. Hearing this, my heart skipped a beat. I didn't expect that this was how Juliet was going to deal with William. She had locked him up at home until he went crazy and then planned to send him to a mental hospital. I looked at her in horror, as if seeing her for the first time. I had been married to her for 7 years, but I never thought she could be so ruthless. This was how she treated her former lover when she no longer loved him. Juliet seemed to see through my thoughts and quickly explained. Ethan, don't be afraid. I won't hurt you. After he's sent in, I'll file for divorce. After I get divorced, we can be together again. A faint smile hung on her lips, and her eyes were filled with beautiful illusions of future life. Juliet, you're terrifying now. Hearing this, she looked at me with a hurt expression. Ethan, don't say that to me, okay? You're breaking my heart. As she spoke, she sniffled. It doesn't matter. I know you can't accept me now. After I've sorted out everything, I'll come back to you. At that time, we'll be together again. Don't you want children? We'll have 2 more, a son and a daughter. Then our family of 4 can live our lives, and will be the happiest family in the world. I suddenly felt that not only was William's mental state abnormal, but Juliet's was too. After everyone left, I quickly called Juliet's mother and told her what had happened today. On the phone, Juliet's mother was crying her heart out, saying that she would take Juliet to see a doctor. That night, however, a big fire broke out in our former home. Since it was a single, family villa, it wasn't until the firelight illuminated half the sky that someone noticed the fire. After a whole night of firefighting, they still couldn't save the people inside. Juliet and William both lost their lives in this fire. Afterwards, through investigation and survey, after ruling out various causes of the fire, the official conclusion was arson. I thought that William must have decided to go all out in the end and drag Juliet into the inferno with him. I was deeply grieved by this result. When Juliet's mother learned of Juliet's death, she fainted and fell to the ground. Juliet's funeral was arranged by the old butler of the Juliet family and several nannies. I went to see her off for the last time, finally ending the bond of this lifetime. As I left the cemetery, light rain began to fall. I looked up at the sky and said softly, "Let's go. I'll take care of Auntie." From then on, I treated Juliet's mother as my own. I took care of her wholeheartedly for 12 years until she passed away. During these 12 years, I met a new love, formed a new family, and had our children. Juliet's mother was very happy and treated my child like her own grandson. Before she left, she held my hand and cried, saying sorry. At that moment, tears streamed down my face. I buried her beside Juliet's father and kowtowed to them 3 times. In this life, I had received kindness from the Juliet family and also suffered humiliation from them. But from this day on, all grudges would come to an end. I would start a new life and a new chapter. After I died, my soul didn't disperse but stayed by Ethan's side all the time. I looked at him, sighed weakly, and lamented the unpredictability of life. Other than that, there was no sadness in his eyes. At this moment, I was sure that he really didn't love me anymore. We had known each other for 11 years and been married for 7. From the moment he saw me, I knew he was attracted to me. I had seen so many men, and in their eyes, there was always a glimmer of eager desire when they looked at me. But not him. In his eyes, there was amazement, admiration, and cautious love. At first, I didn't dislike him. I knew a little about his background. He was an orphan who had climbed to his current position step by step on his own. For the sake of reputation, Juliet Group had sponsored many orphans over the past decade or so. There were at least 800, if not 1,000. The annual sponsorship for each of them was only a few thousand yuan, less than the cost of a meal. So Juliet Group did it just for the reputation and never expected anything in return. These were my father's words. He was an experienced businessman, very good at judging people, and much more sophisticated in understanding and controlling human nature than I was. He said, "Juliet Group has sponsored so many people. Only he came to us to say he wanted to repay. Others either just thanked verbally or sent a thank you letter, and some didn't even say thank you, taking our efforts for granted. But he's different. So why do you think that is?" I shook my head and said I didn't know. My father smiled softly and said that either he really wanted to thank us or he had great ambitions and could only act humble until he had the ability. I nodded in understanding, getting what my father meant. Later, my father spent 4 years observing him and came to the conclusion, he was the former. My father said with a smile that he hadn't misjudged. He said Ethan was a reliable person. These were the words my father told me when he asked me to marry Ethan. He called me into the study and told me these things privately. Naturally, I believed in my father's vision and ability. When I was hesitant, my father said, "Marrying him doesn't necessarily mean you have to love him. Only by keeping him by your side can you make better use of him." I thought about it carefully and it seemed to be true. Later, we got married, and my father passed away not long after. I watched him. Although he was very sad, he was still calm, handling all the troubles methodically and dealing with all the social interactions. Afterwards, he said that my father was the one who gave him a new life. He had to be good to my father, repay Juliet Group, and protect it. His eyes were full of grateful tears when he said this, but I dared not look into his eyes. Because I knew the truth. It was all just my father's means. Later, as my father said, I didn't love him but made the most of his role and value. Until William came back, and I saw hope in love again. He was very hurt when he learned about me and William, but he still didn't say anything. Later, William provoked him again and again. He came to me with the evidence of William's provocation and asked me why I treated him like this. I answered factly that William was a patient, and I was just trying to keep him in a good mood, asking him not to argue with a patient. After doing this several times, he stopped asking. Later, the doctor told me that William's illness could be cured, but it required the bone marrow and blood of a blood relative. After a moment of hesitation, I agreed to save him. There were so few people who loved me left around me. I couldn't let the people who loved me leave again. I knew this couldn't be hidden, but I didn't expect Ethan to find out so quickly. He resolutely proposed divorce to me. At first, I was disdainful. I thought he had no better place to go without me. He made a big fuss, and for the sake of the reputation of Juliet Group, I compromised. The moment I walked out of the Civil Affairs Bureau and saw his sincere smile, I knew he was serious. I was very panicked, but I didn't dare to admit it. It wasn't until he disappeared for 2 months that I realized how much my life had changed without him. As time passed, I had to admit that he had long occupied a place in my heart. Indelible, irreplaceable, and unique. Later, I saw that there was a better person by his side. "Why are you at home? Didn't you go to work?" I went to beg him to forgive me and come back. He refused me expressionlessly, saying that I already had a family and a lover, and I shouldn't do things that would cause misunderstandings. I knew he was blaming me. I had planned to deal with William first and then ask for his forgiveness, but I didn't expect to push William to the extreme. He set a fire that burned all the grudges, love, and hatred clean. Before dying, he held me and whispered in my ear like a devil, "Juliet, we've both made mistakes and should pay the price. You can't get away unscathed." At that moment, I was stunned. He was right. I gave up struggling and hugged him tightly. We were engulfed in the sea of fire, ending all these mistakes.